But look, let's move on to the last topic of the day. And it's completely opposite to what we've been talking about pretty much this whole stream. And we're going to talk about reasons to be positive, and are there reasons to be positive, and to look forward into this season. We'll start off with you, John Cooper.
No.
Come on, Coops. Come on. Let's get some.
You just want me to. You'd be happy if I was constantly positive and never say one bad word. Wouldn't you? You've come and be.
We're trying to squeeze the positivity juice out of you. Come on, we're trying to find some.
What are the positives here? We might beat Man City and get through that game. We might crawl our way to a League Cup final.
But John, from what you've seen, from what you've seen all season. Can you not see that Spurs? Do you think Spurs are on the right track? Do you think Ange is the right man to take us forward? Because I do.
Do you want me to be positive or honest?
Well, you can be honest.
You had to think about that. You actually had to think about that. What's good for the channel right now?
Lie to us, John. Tell us what we want to hear.
Look, I think there's going to be some games where we go on a string of games and it looks really good, like the beginning of last season. And I think we'll all get the hope back up. We'll bump into each other in Sainsbury's and you'll be like, God, we're going to win the league. But then there's going to be a run of games where there's a little splinter, and then we kind of maybe go on a run of games where we lose, like last season as well. And I think that is just symptomatic of Ange ball. And I don't think that's necessarily going to change. If I'm being honest, that we're not going to win a trophy under Ange. Like I said that under Conte and Mourinho as well, and everyone thought I was mad. I was probably the only one that said Mourinho wouldn't win a trophy, and everyone. I got heat for that for like 6 months, didn't I? But I still don't think we're going to win a trophy under Ange. But
we sacked Jose 3 days for a cup final.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we wouldn't have beaten City anyway. Let's be honest. But I think if this is the moment for the rebuild, let me say something positive here.
Go on.
If this is the moment where we have got a load of the old players out, and we've cycled in a lot of the young players, and there is a new kind of thing about bringing in these young players like your Bergvalls and your Archie Grays. Ange probably is the right man to nurture those players and bring in that new bunch of players in. Whether he's the long-standing manager that's actually going to bring us success at this club, I don't think so, but I think he could be the manager that actually, if we are going to go down this path of recruiting young players, then Ange is the right man for that. There might be better managers to help those young players, but he's as good as we're going to get right now. And I suppose it's going to be, we're going to see those players blossom and become better players, and we might see some little starlets. But I don't actually think we're going to, if I'm being honest, I don't think we're going to win anything. I think we're going to finish, fifth again, sixth. I don't necessarily think we're that much stronger than last season. I think we'll probably make like the quarterfinals of a cup or something like that. But some people might think that's progress. I don't know. It depends how you want to look at it. But
what is wrong with Ange's approach? Like, you didn't like Conte and Mourinho because they were too pragmatic. Even though they're serial winners, they know how to win things. Now Ange is going in a different direction, but you're still not happy with how he approaches it.
Well, I mean, it's a lot deeper than just Ange. Even, I mean, Brian's here; he'll tell you. You know what I mean?
Why are you putting me involved in this?
No, I know, but look, I mean,
this is supposed to be reasons to be positive.
No, okay. Well, I'll start off. I'll give a shit sandwich. I'll start off positive, go shit, and I'll finish off with the positive. But we know that. Oh, I'm not going to do the sandwich bit here, but we know that the conditions aren't right for any manager to come in. Any manager that comes in, it's not built for success. It's built for sustainability. It's just built to maybe keep our heads above water. We're treading water with Levy, Enoch, and Joe Lewis. We know that, right? So whatever manager you bring into this, it's like a chef coming into a restaurant and he's constantly given, like the lowest cost food here, right? So Ange is probably doing the best he can with this group of players. He's trying to get the best out of them. But ultimately, I think fundamentally at a root level, institutionally, we're flawed. So I think we're always going to be. It's always a band-aid solution with these managers. Conte, Mourinho, serial winners, didn't work. We tried that philosophy. Now we're trying to cycle it back into a prospect manager, one that's going to nurture the young players. I don't think that's going to win trophies either. But then there might be some changes.
If you look at our first 11, pretty much like every player has cost at least 40 million, pretty much.
Yeah, but have we spent that well? And
yeah, but that's not on. But you can say, have we spent the well? But it's not the amount we're spending is the problem, is it?
I don't think there's ever been, if you look at our net spend over the last 20 years, I don't think if you actually compare it to the other clubs, it doesn't actually rank too badly, but it's been also mismanaged as well. We haven't really invested when we need to invest at the right times. Like not investing in the whole season when, not even buying one player, or the season after we finished third to Leicester, like that was the time to really put the foot on the gas and invest in those certain players like Mane and stuff like that. But he didn't want to. So I don't know. It's also just the intent.
I agree with all. Yeah, that's history. We're living in the here and now. We're living in the here and now, aren't we?
Anyway, let me finish off with a positive.
Go on.
I like Archie Gray's hair. No. It's good to see you guys going, Brian.
Wait, John, let me talk to you about the young players. You're not really excited about some of these young players. You don't really think that they have a really bright future.
No, I do, but it's almost like they're prospects, and we have to wait for in a few years' time for those seeds to blossom into something. Whereas, we should be really considering winning now, but we're not set up to do that. It's almost just like we're building for something later down the line. And yeah, okay, you can get behind that, but come on, we need a trophy now. We want to set the team up to win something now, and I just don't think that's the philosophy right now.
But John, every club that have had that mentality over the past 5 years have gone down the shitter. You look at Manchester United that have spent God knows how much to try and win now with all these players that are supposed to be like at the top of their game, blah, blah, blah. They're going nowhere. You look at Chelsea, what they've been doing. They've gone absolutely nowhere in the last few years. The teams that are doing really well are the teams that have kind of like followed a process. Liverpool from the start of Jurgen Klopp, Arsenal, Arteta, Man City are a different kettle of fish, Man City and Man City, but they've also spent really wisely in the transfer window. They haven't just, gone and splurged on absolute superstars here and now. They've bought really smartly. So isn't that the way you just need to do things now?
I'm not saying you have to completely buy the superstars. I don't think we're ever going to do that. But, I think we need to sort of be looking at tried and tested Premier League players as well to mix in with the young players. For instance, last season with the signing of Maddison, that's the sort of signing that you should be looking for, like players that are tried and tested, right? But the players that are coming in, I think Bergvall is going to be great, and I can really see it in his game.
Dom Solanke, tried and tested.
Yeah, well, you could say that. Yeah, one good season at least, but but I do think that you need to sort of be bringing in those players that are going to come in and hit the floor running and not going to start on the bench, because these young players they're on the bench. So you're paying all that money, but they're not even starting. So is this really helping the team throughout the season?
But again, it's only 7 games into a season. I'm looking at the makeup of the squad, and I don't think it's anywhere near the finished article. It's not the finished article right now, but I can see progress. I've seen progress from last season to this season. I think Dom Solanke is a brilliant number 9. The way he holds the ball up, the way he presses, I think he's perfect for Ange. I'm looking at the forward line that could do with a couple of additions, maybe a big 6 to come in next summer as well. But you're looking at the players that we have. How much deadwood do we actually have in the squad right now? I don't think there's much.
Maybe not deadwood, but I would say there's a few players where the jury's out with still. You'd have to agree with that, right? We're not the finished article by any means, are we?
That's what I said. Yeah.
But have you not seen progress this season, John?
Well, if you go back to this time last season, you'd say we were stronger this time last season, wouldn't you?
But you love the eye test. Well, I'm talking about the eye test.
No, I'm talking about the eye test as well.
John, I actually think in the first 7 games of this season, we've actually played better than the first 7 games of last season.
No, I don't agree with that. I think we were playing all out the back much better this time last season, and I actually think there was a lot more confidence with that. I think Basuma was actually, for the first 4 games or so, he was world class. Do you remember? And I think he's completely fallen off. I think he fell off around the Luton away game. I think where he cost us, and I think his confidence dropped from that. I don't really, and actually just want to talk about that a little bit. He's not cool. He's not coming for the ball enough. I think he's hiding behind the opposition a little bit too much. That's a little bit of a frustration. But
I think that was true up until Balloon Gate. But I think since then, I think he's actually had a massive improvement.
Yeah, but he's still nowhere near those performances like in the first sort of half a dozen games last season. Would you not? You'd have to agree with that. I mean,
yeah, but maybe that's just one player. But if you look at the performances this season, Leicester away, we had 15 minutes where we came under the cosh and could have conceded two or three goals. But I think we more than deserved to win that game and played well for the majority of it. Everton at home, we won 4-0, completely dominant display. Newcastle away, we've been absolutely battered there the last 2 seasons, and we more than did enough to win that game. And we lost 2-1. Arsenal at home, probably, maybe a 0-0 draw was probably the fair result there. We lost 1-0. Brentford at home, heavily dominant performance, deserved to win. Man United away, heavily dominant performance, deserved to win. And obviously Brighton is Brighton. We've covered that in detail
we were
today.
Still 2-0 up in that game.
And we were 2-0 up. We should have kicked on in the second half.
You could say that it's not a million miles away from this time last season, but I think we particularly stepped up from where we were last season. I think we're probably going to. My prediction is 5th or 6th this season. And that's still not dreadful. I mean, Arteta. What was Arteta in his first 2 seasons? Probably terrible.
8th.
There you go. So I'm not saying it's it's drastically bad or anything. I'm just trying to be realistic to where I see us.
The way I look at it, I think we're bang in the middle of a rebuild. I think performances, apart from the second half at Brighton, are looking in a positive way. And these kind of results and these kind of moments are going to happen, particularly in the second season of a rebuild. And it's all about sticking with the process and seeing what comes at the end of it. And I believe Ange is the right man to take that forward. I feel like, maybe we didn't get enough of what we wanted in the summer, but I still think the direction that we're going in is a direction. I think we're going in an upwards trajectory, and if we keep with this manager and we keep with the same mentality and just fill the holes that we need to do in every transfer window, which I did think we did to a certain extent in the summer. We just needed more, and maybe needed more here and now players like in the mold of Dom Solanke. I still think there are a lot of reasons to be positive looking forward.
Do you not think there's a few more? I mean, I'm seeing that we tend to do well against the teams towards the bottom half of the table, right? But the top 10 teams, it's almost like they figured us out a little bit, and we're really struggling against. I mean, what would you say to that? Because I feel like that's a big problem for us, and I don't know whether that's Ange ball, whatever it is, but I think we come unstuck.
Yeah, but
I
this
think
is a
last
process.
season that was true. First was a process, but I know. Look, we should have beaten Newcastle. The Arsenal, I know they beat us, but they didn't exactly figure us out. They got a corner and that was it. Like, it wasn't exactly like a great performance from them. Battered Man United, who are probably going to finish top half this season, and then we were 2-0 up against Brighton and we got complacent, and that's something we're going to have to learn from. So I don't think our performances against the good teams have been bad. Yes, some games we maybe should have had more than we did get, and some games we obviously we're playing against good teams. They're going to have periods as well where they're on top and stuff like that. But I think in general, this season our performances so far against good teams have been pretty good performance-wise. But yes, we still have to go the extra mile and just getting consistent results against them. But that puts you obviously in the upper echelons of being title challengers. And obviously, I don't think anyone expects us to be there quite yet. So we're going to have those problems and struggles at points.
You turned into Ange there.
Get the Ange cough. But we are going to have those problems and struggles against good teams. There's a reason why they're good teams, because they're good. But I think the performance-wise so far this season, I haven't seen a massive issue with it. I don't think we're not getting last season. We were getting battered by a lot of them. 4-0, 4-0 against Newcastle, 4-2 against Liverpool. Arsenal, we were 3-0 down at half time. We were even Brighton, we were 4-0 down. Going to the latter stages of that game. And this season, it's been a big improvement. Yes, maybe the results could have been better, but I think I'm definitely seeing improvement in my opinion, and progression, I would say. Do you not think you've seen progression, Brian?
Yes and no. I mean, you speak about the performances. The performances may be better. This is still point-wise one of our worst Premiership starts in recent times. So you have to look at that. You can look at performances and points. We've all been saying it's a result-based business. The results aren't coming.
Well, under Conte, it was our best. We had our best ever start to the Premier League season, and we finished 8th.
This is the thing. I'll go on to what I'm fully behind what Ben says as well. With Arteta, it's why I won't turn on this manager. I haven't turned on the manager because the managers that start to do things and turn things around are ones that give them time. Are we in the middle? How many times we are 25 years coming up to into a 4-year rebuild. We're always rebuilding. As I've started.
Yeah, it's always the rebuild, isn't it? This time next year,
mate,
Rodders.
This time next manager, year. Whatever. And do you know what I'll say again? I had one of my friends in Seattle mentioned a quote that said, "Football it's a North American sports terminology, which is you're either reloading or rebuilding, or rebuilding or reloading. And reloading means when you're strengthening those areas to give extra strength in depth and whatever. We're never reloading. We're rebuilding. We got rid of all these players we needed. Now we're rebuilding from them. We're never like, right, let's reload. Let's get let's get more competition for this. We're in that position. I think the only way we get out of this right is by standing by a manager, and I will stand by that. The positive I'm taking out of that Brighton result is, I've said it before and I'm going to stick by it, whether people agree with it or not. I'd rather that defeat in the league than a cup competition this season, anytime. I don't care where we finish in the league. I want a trophy. So if we have to have a defeat like that, I'd rather it be in the Premier League. I don't think we're getting top 4. I don't think we're in the race for top 4. No. I think we might be in the race for 6th based on what we've got and based on how we're doing. I'm going to be real, whether people want to agree with it or not.
How can you say we're not in the race for top 4? Who's in the race for top 4?
Mate, I would say Newcastle. I'd say Aston Villa. I would say Chelsea, big time compared to last season. I just don't think we have the squad.
Are they not getting just as inconsistent results
injuries.
As us?
We went into a season where Ange said we're physically stronger than we were last season. We're having to play Timo Werner at left wing because we got our 2 top wingers. We lost our 3 strikers in the first week of the season. Van der Ven's picked up a knock. Destiny is doing it again because I go back to overplayed and undervalued. So I just can't see us sustaining. And also, we got 5th playing in one game a week. We're playing a season right now where if we get further into competitions, which I hope we do, we're going to be playing 2 games a week for most of the season. Sunday, Thursday.
Do you think our squad is better suited to Ange though this season? So in theory, when we make changes like we have been, the players that are coming in are more suited to what Ange needs than last season.
But they probably are, Sim, but that's where he could have relieved some pressure off of Destiny and played Spence. He's got them at his disposal, but he doesn't utilise them.
Hang on a second, Brian. Before this game against Brighton, all of us were sitting here and agreeing that Ange was managing the squad really well, and in terms of his rotation,
making the changes in the Europa League. I said, Carabao Cup. Obviously, he made wholesale changes against Coventry. I think with the Europa League against Carabao, Vicario in goal, huge sign of intent. He's got the players there to make subtle changes and then go, right, Premier League, you're in, ready for Europa, I'm going to drop another 4. But then you look at it at times like the Premier League, when you see Destiny is struggling, you have a ready-made replacement. It's there. And that'll go back to all the comments. But I'm saying I would rather, and this is a positive for me, I'd rather take that performance in the Premier League than I would the Carabao Cup against Man City, than I would against AZ Alkmaar in the Europa League, or against whoever we get in the FA Cup. Because I've said
we need a trophy. We need to get over the line, don't we? I think we all know that.
For me, the most realistic way to success for Tottenham Hotspur this season is winning silverware. We're not winning the league. We're not coming second.
No, we're not going to win an FA Cup. It's going to have to be the League Cup. We're going to have to get through this City game somehow.
And you look at it, people say we want top 4 and we could challenge. If people said, do you reckon I put all the eggs in the one basket for going for top 4, or all the eggs in one basket of winning the Europa League and getting Champions League football, that would be the avenue I'd want to go down. That's where and we'll have to see as the season develops. But we're positive. I believe we need to stick with Ange.
Yeah.
I believe we need to see. Listen, I could be completely wrong. He could get 3 years, 4 years. And
you're
we're
completely
in the same
right,
way.
Brian. Don't worry about that.
But no, but I'm saying we could turn around. I believe the way to success is backing a manager. And I mean by giving him time, not by saying, oh, he didn't get the players he wanted. Whether I'm right or wrong, we'll find out. But I think we've gone down the road so many times of sacking managers at this kind of interval or at the end of the second season where we've never seen where we could go. So that one is tried and tested and failed.
You know what I'm just concerned about is that you often see this pattern, and you used to see this with England a lot, the England appointments of manager. What you'd normally have is you'd get like a salt of the earth English manager, kind of a Harry Redknapp type of manager, right? That kind of thing, right? and then they would dovetail into like a continental manager, and then they'll dovetail back into like an old school English style manager. And we saw that dovetailing with Spurs. It's almost like, I'm just concerned what's going to happen is we start off with these, like a prospect manager, and when some of these seeds blossom into players, and we feel like we need to like really galvanize this now, they'll flip into more of like a win it now manager, a contract manager, like a Mourinho or Conte. That won't work. And then we'll dovetail back into another prospect manager. We'll try that philosophy. That won't work out. And we'll constantly be doing that again. I'm not really ever seeing success from that. So I think we've got to somehow break the pattern a little bit, and whatever that looks like, we've got to.
I don't think Levy ever goes down the route of the Contes and the Mourinhos again. I think he realised the mistake he made in that sense. I just can't see that ever happening again. But I tell you one thing now that I'm going to guarantee you right here on this stream is we will beat Man City in the Carabao Cup. I'm telling you that right now.
We've got a very good chance. Yeah, I think we've got a good chance of doing that.
John, do you not think we could win Europa League this year?
Do I think we can? I mean, we can.
He's just said Ange ain't going to win a trophy.
We got a potential. I don't think we will, though. That's the one I'm going to say. It's just, I don't know. It's just from, you've been supporting Spurs so long. You just do we not
have a squad that's capable of winning the Europa League?
We've always got a squad capable of winning a trophy, but there's the Spursiness, there's the soft underbelly in our DNA that, and we know that, right? And that's never going to go away. That's just like who we are. So, I mean, we can always win a trophy, but whether we do, I just, it never seems to happen, doesn't it? And that's why we are who we are, and we live with our team, and we feel the pains and the highs and the lows and everything else, and then But,
Brian, do you think that we're going to win a trophy under Ange?
I hope so. I believe so. I believe he's. I honestly do. And it's not because he said, which he shouldn't have said, because he should have learned from Conte and Jose. Don't say I win things in my second season, because we've shown you we are the kiss of death to managers and everything somewhere. And where that's blotched on the CV, I think given time, and if he takes the cup competition seriously, and I'll repeat, if he's allowed to take them seriously. Because of what I will say, and this will probably ruffle some feathers. If someone said to Daniel Levy, top 4 in Champions League and the Premier League money, or win the Europa League and top 4 with less money, he'll choose the Premier League. He will choose top 4 position over winning a trophy, in my honest opinion. And we've seen it with, but I do think Ange can win us a trophy. I really do. Whether it's year 2, year 3, or please God, further along the line, I think Ange is the man to end the drought, the famine. It's just whether he is given the time to do it.
Come on. Now that's what I'm talking about. I think that's the most positive note that we should be ending on. So thank you very much for Brian. Brian says Ange will win a trophy at Tottenham Hotspur.
I'm the positive one, bloody.
Okay. Come on, I'm with you, Brian.
Going on, Brian.
I'm completely with you, Brian. I think Ange will deliver. Ange will deliver if we give him the time and we keep building in the way that we're building. I think Ange will deliver, and maybe it will even happen this season. I think we got a good chance of it this season, whether it be the Carabao, the FA Cup, or the Europa League. I do think there's a big chance that Spurs can lift that shiny silver thing that we haven't seen for a very long time. Sim, is he gonna?
Please God, yeah, like about time.
The only one that hasn't given us no. The only one that hasn't given us the answer is Sim.
He's going to win Europa League. Winning Europa.
All right, so go on. You guys give your predictions on trophies. Which one do you think we're going to win this season? Go on, go round
Europa League.
I'm going to go.
Ben?
I think we're going to win the Carabao.
Right.
Do you know what? I was going to say the one that they didn't say because of how much it means to me. So I was going to say the FA Cup. So apparently we're winning the treble.
Right, I'm going to go for the league then. All right.
All right. So if whoever
finish on that note,
whichever one we win, the trophy who predicted they get £10. How about that?
Oh, great!
I'm not unlucky, John.
I'm not lucky with points on this channel, so I don't know if I want to be part of that one.
That's funny.